Dana.
And I'm Sarah, the owner here at Turning Head Salon and Spa in Waunakee, Wisconsin. Today we're going to be showing you some trendy tips that you can use every day at home to get those same looks that you do down here at the salon. I hope you enjoy.
I'm Dana and this is my model Sienna. Today for her makeup we use a vintage inspired look by Mirabella's Fall Collection 2011. And the main focus for the vintage look is lips, which is 60%, eyes, 30%, and cheeks, 10%. For her base, we use a level 1 foundation. It's our skin tint cream, and we use that with our brush, our foundation brush, and just apply it evenly to blend in with the skin. We then use our bronzer with our blush brush and created a 3, which really brought out her features. So we started here, worked our bronzer into the hairline, came around the cheekbone, and then came around the chin to really bring out all of our lines. Did that on both sides. And then I used my blush, which are 2 different colors. We used the darker color underneath the cheekbone, and that's to bring out the cheekbone. And then we had her smile, Sienna, and then we use our lighter color brush right on the apples of her cheeks. We then use a shimmer with this brush. It's a bigger brush, and we just shimmer it over her face so you just give her a nice little touch. And then for her eyes, we used a silver. We used the silver eyeshadow. I went over her entire eyelid on both sides, and then we used this darker black sparkle color just to do it right above her crease line. And then for her eye, we did the cat eye look, which is part of the vintage. And for Sienna, since she has lighter skin, we just did a very light line. For a more bold eyeliner, you could use a Mirabella's permanent marker eyeliner. But for Sienna, since she's lighter toned, we just used our eyeshadow with a brow brush and just dotted along her eye and connected the dots and brought it out a little more to create the cat eye. Next we did her lips, and for her lips the vintage look is red. So we used our red lip liner and lined the lips and then filled in the lips to give us our red, and then we just used a nice little lip gloss to go over the top to give her a little bit of a shimmer. And that's our vintage look. Now that we have Sienna's makeup done, I got all the makeup stuff out of the way so we don't have to worry about knocking it down. And I got our flat iron out, which is what we're going to be using today to create a beach wave in Sienna's hair. What we need for that is some combs and clips and obviously the flat iron. We washed and dried Sienna, but before we dried we put the Big Sexy Root Pump Plus in her hair to give her just a little bit of mousse, to give her a little bit of volume in her hair. So now we're just going to start by sectioning off the bottom part of Sienna's hair, because that's where we're going to start to curl. So we're going to take a section and then clip this up to get it out of the way. And now what we want to use, this is a heat protectant, just to protect her hair from the iron. We don't want to burn it or damage it in any way, so we're just going to lightly spray it. And what that'll do is when you use the flat iron, the heat will pick up on the product we just put in our hair, so that when we flat iron it, it won't be damaging the hair. So now I just did the first curl, and you get a beautiful little curl there, and I'll show you how to do that. You take a section of hair. You can do it as big or as little sections as you want, depending on how curly you want the hair. I'm just going to clamp the flat iron close to the root. You don't have to be right up to the root. You don't want to burn your skull. And then just curve the flat iron. And as you move down, just keep turning the flat iron. And you want to make sure your ends stay in. You don't want to have what are called fish hooks. That just means that your ends will get crazy and they won't be pretty. So you're just going to turn the flat iron and then work your way down the hair, making sure the ends stay in. Then you're going to get some really pretty curls. Always set your flat iron down in between sectioning. You don't want to risk burning yourself or somebody else. So then we're just going to take another section. They don't have to be perfect sections. And we're gonna spray again the heat protectant. Every section you do, you want to spray with the heat protectant. And when I'm on opposite sides of the hair, I'm gonna turn my iron different ways. So when we're over here, I'm gonna start this way and curl the hair in or back this way. There's no really good way to explain it. It's just you move the iron in opposite direction to make the hair flow backwards instead of just doing all the curls this way, because then the curls would just kind of cascade that way. But we want to take the curls all back. So this time I just reversed my flat iron so that the curl would go in the opposite direction. And I'm just going to keep curling, taking everything on the right side one way and the left side the other way so that everything goes back and lays nicely. So now I'm just going to pin up half of this hair here and pin it up. And as you can see, I just finished curling the back of the hair, and now we're just going to work on the front, the sides. I'm starting on the thinner side. It doesn't matter when you're curling which side you start with. But again, I'm still using my heat protectant. And I'm going to take this whole section right here. It's a pretty big section, but that's okay. And we're going to curl it backwards to flow with the rest of the hair. It's beautiful. And then we're just going to let this section down. And I'm actually going to break this one into two just to give a little softer look around her face. Again, curling it back. And sometimes hair doesn't cooperate, and that's okay. You'll just, if it doesn't curl for you on the first time, just, try it again. It does take some getting used to curling with the flat iron, but once you catch on, you'll love it. It's way faster than using a curling iron, and it's really pretty. So now we have this side done, and I'm just going to spin Sienna around to do her other side. We're going to do the same thing, just section off. This time, this is our heavier side, so I'm going to take it in 3 sections instead of just 2. Spraying our heat protectant. And then we're taking it the opposite way. On the other side to curl it back. And you will find that there is a side that you have a little harder time curling at the start. It's just, sometimes it's just a little more awkward for one side than the other, but you'll get used to it. Notice that when I do the sides, when I'm curling it, I'm not curling it like this. I'm not curling it out this way. I'm pulling it back. And that's just so that everything flows together. Everything just lays really nice when you do it that way. just have to pick up the hair again if you lose the ends, that's no problem. And now when you get to the very front, right here, Sienna doesn't have a bang, but most people will, and that's on your heavier side, so you just have to be careful. If they have a shorter side bang to here, you're gonna wanna leave that straight. But with Sienna, it's long enough that we can still curl that backwards, so just use your judgment. Alright, so now we have all the hair curled. And while I was going through on the back, I was using our Big Sexy hairspray, and that'll just help our curls hold. So we're going to spray that out on the sides. And so now we have the curling done, and as you can see, it's very springy curls. They're very boingy and pretty, but for the Beachwave, we want them a little more wavy. So we're just going to take our fingers and just gently comb through the hair. And that's just gonna tame the curls down a little bit and just give it a nice, just like you came off the beach, nice summer look. So now that we have the pretty curls, we're gonna give Sienna a little bit of volume through the top. It's pretty flat to her head right now, and we just like the pretty look of a little bit of volume. So this is called Push Powder, it's by Surface. If you like volume, it'll be your best friend. It's just a powder that helps with volumizing instead of trying to back comb all day to get volume and then for it just to fall out anyway. So in the back of the head, we're gonna take wherever you wanna see the volume start. We're just gonna take the push powder and sprinkle it right onto the hair, right where you parted it. And then you're gonna take your fingers and just rub it right into the scalp like you're shampooing. And that gives you pretty good volume. And for those of you that like to see more volume than just that, then combine the push powder with back combing. It works great. It creates a bump it without using a bump it. It's one of my favorite products. So that's with one section, and you can keep going as far as you want to get more, and you can see that it gets a little ratty. That's no problem, just smooth it out with the comb. I'm going to do one more section of push powder just to give her a little more bump. Working that push powder right into the root and back combing. And for those of you that don't know much about back combing, we're just gonna, after we rub the powder in, you just start at the base and work your comb up into the hair and then push down and then take back up and push down, and you're just creating a nest, pretty much a nest of hair. That's going to give you the volume. See that? That's what push powder does. It makes your hair stand straight up. That's good volume right there. And then obviously we don't want to leave it like that, so we're going to smooth it out. But the more push powder you put in, the bigger volume you're going to get, and it's great. So that's really pretty right there. We're just gonna do one section of push powder on each side to give her a little bit of volume on each side to match the bump on the back. So just sprinkling it on, and you don't need a lot. Gently back combing on this side. And then we're just going to spin her around and do just a tiny bit on this side since the side's already thicker anyway. And for this part, you can really do it before or after curling the hair. I like to do it after. It's just a personal preference. I feel like if you do this before you curl, sometimes you lose the volume when you curl because you're pulling it out, but it's the same difference when you go the other way where I curl first. I might have to go back and fix a few curls after since I'm combing through it so much, but either way. So I'm just gonna turn her towards the mirror, take a look. Oh, she's so gorgeous. So we kind of got a little messy with the back combing, which is no problem. We're just gonna run our fingers through it. And if they get too straight, then we're just gonna take the iron and curl them right back up. But that's about the perfect beach wave that we're looking for. So we're just gonna take our fingers to smooth it all out. And I do not have to go back in with the curling iron, it looks good. So here's our finished look for the beach wave. We just completed Sienna's beach wave style, and now we're gonna transition to put it up into a cute updo. We're gonna take it to the side, and it's always best to take it to the side opposite of your part line. Now I just want to tell you all that just because Sienna has beautiful long hair, she can do this, but so can you guys. I do it with my hair all the time, and as you can see, it's not very long. It's simple, just if you follow what I do with Sienna's, you can do the same thing with short hair. And a good tip for you short-haired ladies, when you go to curl your hair for this style, if you know you're curling it right away before you put it up, it does not have to be pretty. I do it all the time really quick. Same thing with the beach wave with the flat iron. It doesn't have to be pretty, you don't even have to see what you're doing, just take it in the back, twist it, turn it, because for you short-haired ladies, you're not going to see a lot of hair coming out. It's just that curl creates a lot of really pretty volume. So we're going to get started with Sienna. And what we're going to do to start is I'm going to anchor it to the side, and we want to have a good anchor so the bobby pins stick in. So what I'm going to do is pin off a section of hair on the top, and we're going to put a little plastic ponytail in her hair, and that's just going to help the bobby pins stay in place. So it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't matter exactly where you're taking the hair from to pin it up, but I'm doing about where the skull bends in the back here. And then I'm going to take not a huge section, and I'm going to leave hair out around the perimeter, which is where the hairline around the head goes. And I'm going to pick up some hair from over this side, but not a ton. And I want to anchor the ponytail in the direction that we want the updo to flow, which is this way. So I gathered the hair that I want to use in the ponytail all to this side, give it a little twist so that it stays where you want it to. Then we're just going to take our tiny little plastic clear ponytail and place it in the hair. And keep in mind that you want it, if you want to have your updo flow down, to keep the ponytail lower. If you think you want it to be higher, then pin it a little higher, but for this style, we're going to go a little bit of a lower style. So we're just going to pin it right there, and it's coming off to the side. So that's a great start. Then you're going to let the hair down, and this is where our pinning begins already. I just need to turn her to the mirror. It's really good to do this in front of a mirror. So you want to make sure that you can see how your volume is on both sides and in the back, and you want everything to flow together nice. And Sienna, she's only 13, so we're not going to give her huge volume. Now if you're a little bit older and you love the volume, I would say get it as high as you want it, because I love the volume. So I'm starting in the back. I just gathered all the hair over and made sure that everything in the mirror lines up good. And I'm gonna start with a pin right below where we place the ponytail. So I have that one pin, and that already held everything right over. I'm just gonna pin another one to secure. And it's good to crisscross bobby pins because that will make sure that they stay in place. If you just keep pinning them one by one and they're not hitting anything, there's nothing there making the two hold and stay together. So we're just gonna crisscross, and you can feel when you're doing this by yourself in the back of your head, you can feel where they are. And now I'm just gonna turn her. And already this side is so smooth and it looks so nice. And then I'm gonna take this side and play with it. If you might not want it in front of your ear, you might want to pull it all back behind your ear. With Sienna, I want it a little looser on this side, so it kind of covers one ear. It's just very elegant looking and pretty. So I'm gonna take that, and it's really easy to look in the mirror, see where you want something, hold it. So then we're just gonna pin that one right in place. And it's okay if it gets a little messy, you can always smooth it back over. Just secure it. And what I'm doing with this pin is the bobby pins from the other side came out of the bottom of the hairline over here. So I'm going to take this pin to pin those bobby pins back up and hide them. It's always good to have hidden pins. And sometimes when you can't hide the pins, take a little bit of hair from the cascading flow down here and just pin it up. It'll just come together. Once you start, it'll just feel natural to keep pinning. And you'll find where everything wants to go. Everything will flow together after you have it all curled. I'm gonna take a peek in the mirror. That looks really nice. If you get something too tight, it never hurts. You can either take your fingers if it works, or if you are afraid you're gonna mess it up with your clumsy fingers, you can just take a comb and you can just pull the hair out where you want it to come a little looser. So already we have a really nice looking updo here. You just want to make sure it's secure. You can shake your head a little bit if you don't think it'll hold, and then if it comes out a little, just put some more pins in until you feel like it'll hold. And it never hurts to take a pin back out. Like here, this pin is not cooperating for me. I don't like where it is. Just hold the hair down where you want to pull the pin out so you don't mess up the rest, and just slide it out. And we're just gonna try it again. When a pin doesn't go where you want it, it might be blocked by another pin, or there might just be too much hair in the pin. It's no big deal. So where we're going with this could already be a completed look. I'm gonna spin her around. Depending on what you're doing, this is really pretty. Sienna could wear this to a family wedding or a special occasion, or we could keep going with it. This can all come up. This can all get pinned up, and that'll be really pretty too. So just to show you some variation, I'm just gonna pin it up. And it's really easy. Just take a section, can be big or small, put the pin right in the section, and just kind of twist it. Just, you already have the pin in, and just twist it up and anchor it down. Then we're going to take another section. They don't have to be the same size. I'm going to take the pin, put it right in just like that, and twist it in. And sometimes they get bulky where we twist it up. All you do is take a pin, put it right in the middle, get rid of it. Make it look like another loose curl, just like that. Right there, looks kind of chunky there. Just put a pin right in the middle of it. Twist it in. So now we got the bottom part, we got the bottom mostly pinned up. So I'm gonna take some from the bottom and just twist it right underneath the whole thing. And then I'll just lift it all up a little bit. Take another piece from down here. And it's really easy. This is really easy to do it this way, that I'm putting the pin in the hair before I actually pin it up into the updo. This way you can actually see, since you're doing it on yourself, it's hard to see what you're doing in the back of your head. So when you already have the pin in the hair, before you're turning around and not seeing what you're doing, it just makes your life a whole lot easier. So then when you have to turn away from the mirror, you can just do it. And you're not worrying about where you put the pin or how it's going in, it's just there already. And I'm gonna turn Sienna to see how we're doing. This is looking really pretty. I do wanna take some from here, some hair from the front, and just incorporate that. So again, I'm just putting the pin right through the hair before I even pin it up. There's so many different ways you can do this to make it look great. And we got a little poof going on right here. We're just gonna pin that down. In hairstyles like this, don't get stressed out if it's not going your way, because there's so many different things you can do with it. You could start by thinking you're gonna have one thing and end with something totally different, but either way, it's gonna look really pretty. And it takes some getting used to, but you'll catch on, and it's fun. When you get to the party and people ask you who did your hair, and you get to say that you did it, and it feels good to say that, especially when it looks so good. Pinning down some of the hairs that get a little crazy. Turn it around and take a look here. That's really pretty. We could even end here. This looks great. It's a really pretty, once again, you can wear it for anything. Family event, special occasion. All this can get pinned up too, you guys. All you have to do is keep pinning. Pin all this up. You can take a big chunk, pin all this up. It's so easy. You can just keep pinning if you wanted it all up. I love this. It looks really elegant and really pretty. And Sienna is just our gorgeous little model here, and she looks great. There she is. This is our final special occasion updo.
Thank you so much for checking out our how-to series. And if there's any more that you'd like to see, or if you have any questions about the ones that you did see, please check out our website or stop down here at the salon and we'd be more than happy to help. Thank you.